Hello everyone, welcome to the CL 1101 webinar. My name is Jennifer Staub and I am the account manager for the United States. I am here with Johnny Grant, our product line manager of the CopperLink Ethernet extenders. Johnny will be introducing us to the patent's latest CopperLink model, the CL 1101 PoE Ethernet extender.
All right, hey, thanks Jennifer. Thank you all for attending this webinar. We at Patent are very excited to get this product released. It's definitely been a project for 2016, and I look forward to presenting it to our customers, end users, and our channels. Let's go ahead and get this started. What we're going to do is kind of go kind of a brief introduction over Ethernet and what our Ethernet extenders are, go into the applications, where this fits into Patent's CopperLink portfolio, and if we have some time at the end, we will do some questions and answers. To begin with, one of the most important things is really understanding a bit about Ethernet and why it's become so prolific. Ethernet offers much higher bandwidth options than most other legacy technologies that were previously used for similar applications. Certainly serial RS-232, 422, 45 for the industrial type communications. We see a lot of that being switched over to Ethernet. CCTV switching over now to the IP cameras, voice over IP, same thing, E1 versus Ethernet. It has really been a big change, and it's really industry and worldwide. Hit many different industries. Ethernet enables the management and control devices from anywhere in the world. That is a huge thing, eliminating truck rolls and various other methods people had to manage their endpoints. Ethernet also has the benefit of being able to constantly evolve to meet these new requirements and applications. Probably the most important thing is Ethernet is ubiquitous. It is everywhere. Why is that important? One, product availability. You don't have as many end-of-life concerns with Ethernet-based technologies. And of course, the more there is, the more Ethernet, the more prolific it is, the cheaper it gets. And that is why we're seeing so many of our communications products, the cost being reduced on a pretty consistent basis, whereas many of our legacy products are seeing the opposite.
Johnny, let's go ahead with a quick poll with the Ethernet.
Cool. So what we'll do is we'll give this about 30 seconds, a minute, get your votes in. All right, I think we got, yep, I think we got our show estimate, and this was a bit of a trick question, kind of to see if you all were on your toes. Ethernet is, well, the number one answer is a very common protocol. That is actually incorrect, and that is a common mistake when we talk about our Ethernet extenders, Ethernet is only on the bottom two layers of the OSI model. So we're talking about the physical connectivity, layer 1 and layer 2. The protocols are going to be a higher layer. The reason that is important is our Ethernet extenders, when we say that they are protocol independent or transparent to higher layer protocols, means our Ethernet extenders are only looking at a physical layer. They do not care about things like H323, SIP, all the various different voice and video codecs and compression schemes. So that will be important later. 10100 base T is 328 feet limit, and Ethernet does require Cat 3 or better to operate. All right, so let's go ahead and continue this. All right, so as we discussed, Ethernet's many benefits are driving all industries towards IP. But migrating to IP and or now today the cloud, you know, your IoT solutions and whatnot, there are a couple physical layer limitations that can really make turning your system over to you know, a network-based or IP, Ethernet-based networks very difficult, very time-consuming, and very expensive. One of the biggest is the infrastructure, cabling, and topologies have to be suitable for Ethernet transmission. So, you know, we're looking at Cat 3, Cat 5e, 6, wireless or fiber as the way you have to do native Ethernet. Now, when we extend it and go into PoE, really there's no other, there's really no good wireless or fiber option to be able to provide PoE or line-powered applications. So copper definitely has a leg up on the other two for those type of applications. To work as specified, Ethernet and PoE say that a distance should not exceed 328 feet or 100 meters, and that's the point-to-point, device-to-device. No segment should be more than 100 meters apart. One of the traditional methods to get by this has been using switches, hubs, or repeaters to regenerate that signal and go an additional hop. This is what makes our CopperLink so great. These are the various different types of things that we have that we can help our customers avoid using our Ethernet extenders. Being able to use the existing twisted pair is a major benefit to our Ethernet extenders, and that's what our CopperLink Ethernet extenders are all about. They're really to extend Ethernet or your network connections over ordinary existing telephony grade copper cable or coax. Two of our primary models do coax. Now, where the CL1100 fits specifically in our CopperLink 1000 family is it's our fastest symmetrical Ethernet extender. It is what we would call our high-speed short range. We can work off of 1, 2, 3, or 4 twisted pairs, any single model. We have one Ethernet port on the device. These are made to be simple. The thing that differentiates it, the biggest differentiator to the CL1100 or for the CL1100 is we're able to do power over Ethernet, and we're able to do power line feed. I'll show you in an application why that's so important. The other ones, we are looking to do a multi-drop and extended temperature. If you're familiar with Patent's CopperLink Ethernet extenders, you know that We have just about every form, fit, function of Ethernet extender imaginable. So like all the other products, we will have extended temperature models available. Like I mentioned in the other slide, the CO1101 is just a little bit different. We're now have our common use case for an Ethernet extender, so we're able to extend that Ethernet. But now we're also over this same twisted pair or coax or multiple copper pair. We're now able to extend both power, which in turn will become PoE, and data over that same existing telephony grade copper cable and or coax. We get distances of about 3,200 feet is about the maximum distance in terms of data throughput. Power can go much further. This application, just a brief description, the local unit, which typically sits in the office or the data center, that is the unit to the left. That is the unit that you supply either AC power through our AC to DC power converter, or you can power our units DC direct. We are looking for a 54 volt DC input. Less can work, but the higher the power, the closer to the 54 volts DC you are, the more power we can pass remotely, thus powering a higher class device on the remote side. The remote side will take your data cable in. It takes the feed of data and power and turns that into the PoE connection for your wireless access point, your IP security camera, your voice over IP phone, you name it. There are hundreds and probably now thousands of PoE enabled devices. Some of them are pretty exciting applications, but it is a really a very simple solution, transparent to various different protocols. So it will work in nearly every scenario. The general features of the CO1101 is this device is symmetrical, so you get upstream and downstream rates the same. Most of the products in this type of category are asymmetrical. They're typically using a VDSL2. So you will see really great rates at short distances, and it drops off fast. And your upstream and your downstream is not the same. So it doesn't matter where you're putting it makes a big difference where you're putting your local and remote. You really have to think out your applications. This device, it will extend both the Ethernet and power over 3,000 feet. We discussed that. One of the cool things is that this device is switch selectable. So it's got a switch selectable mode for legacy PoE or PoE plus modes. And the difference is really the legacy PoE. You find that a lot in the like Cisco legacy PoE devices. So it's devices that are not doing the PoE handshake. We're capable of connecting to those. You just have to flip a dip switch to allow communication between the two. So the PoE chip isn't looking to get confirmation from the legacy PoE device that it is PoE enabled. Instead, it's going to look at the load, not just the PoE negotiation. So we are capable of working in both modes. It is a dip switch. We can provide PoE or PoE plus to the endpoints. It really matters primarily on distance. We have some distance tables that we will provide. They're in the presentation. I put them in the very back. And you'll see our collateral being updated shortly. The standard temperature model is 0 to 50 C. I mentioned that we had an extended temperature. The extended temperature is minus 20 to 70. It's in an IP40 metal enclosure. I like best the new enclosure we're using. It is really phenomenal, very flexible. Allows us to give you all kinds of different mounting options. So we have a floor mount, we have a wall mount, we have the DIN rail mount, and we also can put this product into weatherproof enclosures. Anywhere from really IP65 up to IP68 are the ones we've predominantly been looking at. Yeah, so we got a question. Let's go ahead and get it.
Johnny, are there any plans for the the local side to take POE input at any future time?
Okay, for the local side.
Are there any plans for the local side
Okay.
to take POE input?
Not at the moment. I think potentially in the next generation, this design itself, probably not. It's predominantly an issue where you can power up the unit, the local unit, through PoE, but you're not going to be able to provide enough power for that the remote extender. That's really where the reason why we actually initially had that in the design, and it fell by the wayside because of the lack of distance that we could get. It is something that we can certainly look into. I think that more and more of our extenders, we've discussed making all of our extenders PoE capable, so you don't have to worry any more about AC to DC adapters. So it is something we're looking into, but probably not, or certainly not at the release of this unit.
Another question is, do you have or will you have extenders capable of gigabit speed?
I think it's very likely. We are certainly discussing it. So yeah, we will have Ethernet extenders with gigabit Ethernet interfaces. The big thing really is to look at the application itself. We have competitors, talking about gigabit Ethernet extenders, but when you actually look at the application, or go through, read the documentation, they hand off gigabit Ethernet interfaces at the local and remote connection. But in between those two, the extenders, it's not gigabit transmission, certainly not over copper. But it is something we're looking at addressing, starting to add gigabit Ethernet ports, and I think it's highly likely to happen on the 1101 on its next pass. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So for the Ethernet extenders, I went and put together a kind of a feature benefit chart. I believe one of certainly our what I perceive as our biggest three features of the CO1101, the ones that can benefit our customers the most. We're being able to pass Ethernet over twisted pair, coax, or the already installed infrastructure. We see cases of it all the time. It can drastically reduce the downtime when switching over to Ethernet and or IP. We've shown use cases like for the EMV, which is that Euro, MasterCard, Visa, chip card readers. In like a retail establishment such as a gas station, they cannot afford to tear up their tear up the concrete all around or tear up the forecourt is what they call it, to be able to lay new data cables. When they do that, people are going to drive by the gas station. Not only they're not going to buy gas, but they're not going to go into the stores and buy the goods that they actually make real profit on. So an application like that, the reduction in downtime can be absolutely critical. And of course, you're using your existing infrastructure, you're saving CapEx. It's one less expense that you you have to worry about. And really the rates and performance you can get out of your old copper, really, I mean, it buys you years before you actually have to really consider switching over to new cabling or fiber. Another big benefit is the ability to be able to extend both Ethernet and PoE past that 100 meter or 320 foot distance limitation. For security, it drastically increases your perimeter size, how much you can actually cover. And simply, not you don't have to worry about putting hubs, switches, or anything else in there to repeat the signals when you're running halfway across campus, or say 5,000, 6,000 feet. You really don't want to plunk a bunch of switches at those halfway marks, or Avery, I'm sorry, 328 feet. The PoE, the beautiful thing about it is for if you have a PoE enabled endpoint, being able to pass power over the line to a remote unit and thus your endpoint, it eliminates the needs to find a local power source. That allows you to put your devices where you want them, not where you need to, not where you're being told the specification tells you need to put them. Cameras, that's really big. Certainly phones and speakers and various other different devices. It gives you a lot of flexibility. We're talking, when you extend an Ethernet with this type of device over 3,000 feet, we're talking about two devices. One sitting in your local premise or your customer premise, the other one sitting by the remote device. You don't have multiple points of failure between A and B. That is a benefit, certainly. And very important to us here in Gaithersburg and to many of our customers abroad is our products are made right here in our Gaithersburg factory. They're made in the USA. We designed them from the ground up, and they're built to last. What I mean by ground up is we do not follow just the reference designs. We actually really go in there and look at how can we make this extender the best possible product it can be. How can we make this thing last? We're looking for the highest quality components. We know that our customers are putting these in really mission critical applications. We've got some really great applications, and our engineers know that, and the effort is made not to come up with the lowest cost product, but to come up with really the highest value product we can offer. In the rare event of an issue, you can call us here at Patent Electronics. Our technical support for CopperLink is absolutely free. We're local, is always a plus, and we do have, of course, our regional centers all around the world where they can also offer CopperLink support. The best thing is you'll be able to get an answer direct from us. We don't have to go and check with our contract manufacturer or anybody else. We know the product from the ground up.
All right, let's hear from the audience about which feature benefit is most important to them.
All right. So our looks like our results are in, and I'm really excited to see that. I believe that certainly one of the biggest benefits of the Ethernet extender that I look at, and this CopperLink as a whole, is being able to operate over existing infrastructure. I believe that we run into that type of application probably saves our customers more money than any of the others. So it's good to see. I'm very excited to see the line power feedback. That's fantastic. That really kind of gives us the backing that we've got the right product coming out. So thank you for your votes. It's great to see. Let's go ahead and continue on here. So now where do we see these types of devices being used? Ultimately we're talking about connectivity. So we've got to connect these various different endpoints back to the network, back to a switch sitting in the data center, or the network room. For telephony, VoIP, we see the IP phones, the ceiling speakers, call boxes, and intercoms, all being a nice play within the telephony VoIP space. Very nice fit with our smart node gateways and routers. Really excited about getting some synergy between the two core brands, CopperLink and SmartNode. For security and surveillance, the big ones certainly are cameras, IP cameras, sensors, and keypads, just to name a few. I said earlier, there's thousands and thousands of PoE applications. I was stunned. I thought I knew most of them, but I didn't even really get to the bottom of them. Retail establishments, for digital signage, point of sales, credit card readers, and wireless access points. And really, wireless access points can be not only in retail, obviously, but anywhere you want to give wireless access. We can give you a boost and allow you to put that wireless access point where you can get the best possible service, where you can reach the people you need to. Certainly a cool benefit of the 1101. For building automation, we've got our HVAC controllers, thermostats. Probably one of the coolest, or at least my favorite, no-brainer application is this PoE LED lighting that's coming around. It just seems like a natural fit. We have our smart lighting. Everybody wants to be able to monitor their energy use and lighting use, over IP. Well, now we're doing power and IP over the same line. It seems like an absolute no-brainer. And those are really cranking out. There's quite a few companies now offering LED PoE lights, and now we can reach them just off of that twisted pair, which is pretty cool. Industrial automation, you got your PLCs, IoT gateways and nodes. So very similar to the wireless access points. If there's copper there, you can use it. Provide power to the gateways and nodes to in turn connect to all the various different little sensors they're connected to. And obviously in industrial automation, you have several sensors that are PoE enabled. I want to talk at least briefly about how to order a PoE Ethernet extender. These SKUs can look, the ordering codes can look a little bit daunting at first, because they are considerably longer than what we have in the past. I'm showing an example of a 2-pack. We do sell our CopperLink Ethernet extenders, both singles, meaning local and remote separate, and in 2-packs. The 2-packs are really there to simplify the process for our customers. You order a 2-pack, they're pre-configured, you've got a local and a remote, and you're ready to go right out of the box. So I show an example of this one. We will have some guidance on our web pages when ordering singles, an application where I would expect somebody to order a local and a remote could be, and this is one thing that our customers, we get really great feedback on, is we don't make our customers, if they want to buy an industrial grade Ethernet extender, buy an industrial grade Ethernet extender for both sides of the link. There are many applications where just the 0 to 50 commercial grade extender works great in the data center, but they want to have an industrial grade or an outdoor unit remotely. We offer any combination of really for your needs. You'll see that the grade and or enclosure type is defined in the very beginning of our part number. The CL1101 is what we call a root. That's really the root model, the technology that you're ordering. X is defining the grade. So in the case of just a standard office, there's nothing. It's blank. In the case of industrial grade, there will be an E preceding the 1. And for an IP system, an outdoor, there will be an IP after the 1. And we'll have to have a there'll be a designation. If we're doing a 65, IP65 device for you, it'll read IP65. IP68 will read IP68. It's pretty simple. The next section is the PAF-Y. The Y is the variable right now. That's calling out the PoE mode. And the PoE mode is really defining which wire pairs and the power and which wire pairs both the power and data are on. The most common is going to be your mode A, but when we built this product, we wanted to be able to be able to cover the most use cases possible. So we do have an alternate version of the product that is able to do mode B. So that would have to be called out. So a mode A extender will be PAF-A. A mode B extender will read PAF-B. And that only pertains really more so to the remote side connection. The last digit is Z. That's the connector type. Probably the most self-explanatory of them all. That is BNC for BNC, RJ45 for RJ45, and TB for terminal blocks. So if you're coming in with bare cables, you're able to make that connection without having to crimp an RJ or any other type of connector. So we really try to simplify that for you. We have loads of options, particularly on our CL1101E, the one that comes in the metal enclosure. The metal enclosure, we have a DIN rail installation kit to connect to a 35 millimeter. Should you have a different size DIN rail requirement, I'm sure we can find it. We just kind of standardized with the industry on the 35 millimeter. We have a mounting plate that goes on the rear panel mounting plate. You can see that at the bottom of the slide, third picture to the right. And that allows the unit to be facing outward. Then we also have an install kit of the mounting ears, and the mounting ears fit in the side grooves of the CL1101. That allows you to mount it flush. So say you want to mount it under a desk or onto a wall and you don't want anything hanging out, you'd use the mounting ears. We also have a 19-inch adjustable DIN rail rack. It's also 35 millimeter, and it's got adjustable depth. So it works for any 35 millimeter DIN rail product by patent or by anybody else, and not all of them have the same depths between them. So in some instances, you may have an extender hanging out too far, or a device of some sort hanging out too far. It's adjustable, so you can just slide it back and you can make it flush with the rest of the rack. Where this product stands now, we are taking pre-orders. We were finishing up our beta testing and beginning some new beta test sites. Safety, FCC, and CE compliance is complete, so we don't have that at the end as a roadblock. We're good to go there. We're expecting the official factory release to be in October. And what we're asking for you to do, the call to action that we're looking at from y'all is to contact your distribution channel for CopperLink launch bundle pricing. We have some special prices going on the CL 1101, and in turn Ethernet extenders in general. I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to download our CopperLink Ethernet extenders guide. That's at patent.com, CL 1101. That's our launch page. So that really kind of gives you the center point to everything. We'll give you access to the 1101 and 1101E web pages, the Ethernet extender guide, the whole 9 yards.
All right. Well, before we go to Q&A, let's do our final poll.
All right, so we'll give this a couple more seconds, and then we'll get into our question and answers. All right, Jen, I think we're good.
And share that with everybody.
All right, cool. So we got some immediate needs, which is fantastic. Some hopefully future needs. Some folks who need, hey, the best. I'm using a similar product. No one. I am so thrilled that none of y'all are using competitive products. That's great news. So I look forward to being able to provide you our units. And those that need more information, please do not hesitate. We'll be doing this question and answer right about now. But if there are any questions, you can contact us and myself very easy, and we'd be happy to discuss. So with that, I guess let's go ahead and open it up to questions.
So the 1101 is only a single connection. Do you have a 24-port or 48-port CopperLink switch?
Okay, so the question is, the 1101 is a single port device. Are we considering, or do we have a multi-port device, something 24 to 48 ports? Okay. Right now, no, we do not. Not with using this technology. We do have a 24-port device for our long-range Ethernet extenders. That does not support line power or PoE. But we are currently laying out the design for what could be a 12, 24, 48 port device. We're really looking for feedback on that type of device. We'll go ahead and hopefully get your contact information and get back in touch with you. But yes, that is definitely in the plans for sure. Okay. We have a question in regards to distribution. Canadian distribution. Jennifer will contact you after this webinar and discuss that. All right. Well, it looks like our questions are completed. So if you have any other longer questions, you should have my email contact. Well, we have one more here.
All right. What cable do you recommend for PoE Plus?
So for PoE Plus, if we're just connecting PoE Plus to PoE Plus, we're not taking into consideration using a CopperLink. Then really it's the Cat 6 would be ideal.
And any future SNMP capabilities for network monitoring of status?
Any future needs of any future SNMP capabilities? With this core product, with this model, no. The CO1101 is a very it is an unmanaged device. It is going to be a straight pass-through device. The multi-point box we're looking at for sure, and I believe an 1101 next gen device could very well have that. Certainly well within our capabilities. We are starting to do more extenders with that capability. So I'd say it's highly likely. All right, so we will go ahead and close this webinar. I thank you everyone for attending. Hopefully you've learned a little bit about the CO1101, and hopefully you've learned enough to where if you have more questions, you can contact me directly. My name is certainly in a lot of those emails. I've been reading your replies back, so it is me sending those out. And thank you very much. I look forward to working with you all. Take care.